Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. I haven't put up a video in the last few weeks. I've been fairly busy trying to work on my honey-do list, trying to get some things done before the winter cold sets in. Now, today I want to talk about money. Imagine that. Now, what I want to talk about is the value of a dollar. And most people, you know, when you would ask them that question, they'd go, well, it's a dollar is 100 cents. And yeah, a dollar is 100 cents. But if you listen to a lot of very smart people in the world, one being Warren Buffett, when he was at a younger age, he used to equate the value of a dollar by what that dollar would be worth if you invested it and it compounded. So he would say, if I'm going to spend $5 on something, or $10 or $20 or whatever the case may be, he would say in his head, what is that dollar going to be worth in 10 years, or that $100 or $1,000 going to be worth in 10 years if you take into consideration the compounding if the money is invested. And I think that every young person needs to think in that fashion, or any person really. I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are, but to be honest with you, the most important people that need to think that way are younger people. So when you go out and you buy that $2 latte each day, and that 20 days a month, we'll say every work day, that's $40 a month. And if you compound that, I'll put up a chart that you can see. If you compound that money over a 10 or a 20-year period, what is that actually worth? And that's a good way to think about it. I mean, in today's world, people buy everything, it seems, on the premise of what does it cost per month. And a lot of times they don't take into consideration what that purchase actually ends up costing you in the long term. And if you're somebody that doesn't have a government pension or an index pension, you need to be able to watch your money and watch it carefully if you want to have enough money when it comes time to retirement. Now, I'm not saying that you gotta, do without everything, but the Warren Buffett line of thinking on this is pretty sound when you think about what is that money going to be worth down the road if I don't buy that today, and do I really need that? So whether it be small items are probably what most people could identify with. So going out and getting that coffee every day as opposed to making it at home. Instead of packing a lunch, going out every day and buying a lunch. Going out at night and buying food on your way home at some drive-thru. Whatever the case may be, all of these dollars, or hundreds of dollars, whatever the case may be, they all add up and can add up when invested to be quite the sum of money. So you can also equate this to the level of things that you buy. So an example would be, instead of buying that BMW for $70,000, buy the Hyundai for $40,000 that has the same options on it. Maybe there's a couple of things on the BMW that are a little fancier than the Hyundai, but in reality, what do you really need in a car? You need air conditioning for sure, depending on where you live. All cars have power steering, power brakes. I mean, power windows and door locks and those types of items are pretty well standard on cars now. Automatic transmission, of course. The only things that, when you get into different levels of the car, could be heated seats and steering wheels and those types of things, navigation. But I'll tell you, my Hyundai has all of that stuff. And it was $40,000, and I know that a BMW with similar options is probably $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. So think about that. That's $30,000 that I can take and invest, and in the long term will make me enough money I could probably buy that BMW for cash someday, if that's something that I wanted to do. So I guess my video today is just to let people think about what the actual value of money is, and what it can do for you. And this can go, whether it be a car, a house, whatever the case may be. If somebody saddles down with buys twice the house that they need, just because they want to impress their neighbors or whatever the case may be, and spends $800,000 on a house where they could live in a bit of a different neighborhood for $550, then you have to say to yourself, well, what about that other $200,000 or $300,000? If I was to invest it, what will that bring me in the long run? And that goes back to something that I was taught earlier in life. Unfortunately, not by my parents, but just by reading and watching what other people do. There was a hockey player from Canada. His name was Eddie Shack, that passed away in the last couple of months. And this guy didn't have any formal education of any sort, but he knew that buying property, land, would someday make him, it made him wealthy. But I think in his eyes, he wasn't actually thinking of becoming wealthy. He was just trying to plan for his future, being a hockey player. So if you think about what money is going to be worth down the road, that's a good way to think about it. Because putting money away each month, which I've talked about in other videos, whether it be a very small amount, over time the compounding will add up and add up, very much so. And you don't have to do without. All you need to do is eventually let the capital provide the income. And I was in to see a bank manager about 30 years ago with my father, and a fella poked his head in the door, and he looked like a guy that probably didn't have any money, and that's why looks can be deceiving. Sometimes the people with the fancy cars and the big houses don't really have any assets. They have debts, and they have the ability to pay those debts, but they don't really have any built up assets because they're living so high on the hog that they're not able to put enough money away to actually keep that lifestyle if anything tragic happens. So getting back to the bank manager story, this gentleman poked his head in the door, and when he poked his head out, I think it was my father said, well, that guy's kind of rude, interrupting us. And the bank manager, his name was Jim, he said, no, he's actually a very nice man. He was just, has an appointment with me and was just checking in. And my dad said, oh, and then the bank manager went on to say that, this guy has so much money that he can't even spend the interest on the money. And that's the secret, to build up assets that you can derive a steady income from. So when you get older, and this guy was about 40, when you get older in life, then you don't need to make any more new money. Your money or your old money will start to make money while you sleep. And that's another thing that Warren Buffett has always said, that successful people and people who really think, they're making money while they're sleeping. Now think about that. That's the greatest thing going. I mean, if you're spending every nickel that you make, and you got to get up and go to work every day to survive, especially when you get older, that's not a good scenario, because that will set you up for failure. Because if anything happens to your health, you all of a sudden don't have the ability to make that money anymore. You've got to start selling your assets. And usually when somebody has to sell their assets, that's when you end up losing money. So get the money put away when you're young, or any age. Get the money put away and get it working, and let the compounding and dividends make you enough money that you don't have to worry about working anymore. You can just draw on the investment income from your assets and your capital. That is the most important thing that you can do. And especially as a young person, skipping that coffee 2 times a week, we'll say, taking it from home, not taking takeout food 3 nights a week. However you can do it, you need to adjust your lifestyle so you are able to put money away that can compound, can give you dividends and compound throughout your life and make you money while you sleep. Anyhow, I hope this video gives you some good advice. And it's advice from me, being somebody who's been there and done that. I'm 60 years old and I've been around the block. And did I follow all these suggestions all my life? No, I didn't, because I didn't know any better. I didn't have somebody like me to guide me. And I hope that my experience and knowledge in life, anybody that watches this video can sit back and say, you know what, that makes sense. I'm not going to go out and buy that coffee every day. And I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it in my TFSA and buy, stocks in a blue chip company that, and it doesn't have to be like I've talked about banks. It doesn't have to be banks. I mean, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, all of these companies are going to be world beaters, or are already world beaters, but the technology that they have and the services they have are going to thrive going forward. Innovation that these companies have is just absolutely incredible, and they will continue to innovate and increase shareholder value. So do what you need to do to set yourself up so when you do get to be older, you don't have to get up every day and go to work. That's the most important thing. And there's the other saying. Some people get up and go to work because they like it. But it's one thing to get up and go to work if you like it and you don't have to financially. But if you have to get up every day and go to work because the wolf is at the door every month for $20,000 or $10,000, it doesn't matter what it is. If you don't have automatic income coming in to pay that monthly expense, then you're a slave to, your money, I guess you could say. So, but if you can get up every day when you get older and say, you know what, I'm going to go do that part-time job, and I don't have to, but it just gives me something to do or I enjoy it. But my money is making me money without having to answer to anybody. So if you like my videos, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. And I always want to hear comments. I have some subscribers that do comment, and I appreciate it. I had one subscriber this morning that had bought Apple stock when I did the video about the split and made himself 20% on his money. So sometimes, old gray hair, old guys can have some sound understanding of the markets in the world and what's going on and how to navigate them. So again, please subscribe, hit that like button. It's important. It gets more people watching my videos. And please comment. I will answer your comment. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.